the 1940s, big cities have spread their population growth by building new suburbs.
Perth, the capital of Western Australia.
Nearly 90% of Australian families live in a sprawl of neighbourhoods.
And why not? Finance is cheap and, well, renting just isn't the same.
The dream of owning a home on a quarter-acre block is etched in the country psyche.
How important is it to a woman to have a home of her own?
Oh, very important. It's a wonderful feeling to have your own home.
But social dysfunction and economic despair are turning some suburbs into troubled communities. Amid these challenges, local heroes are playing their part to improve their community.
Each and every one of us have got a responsibility to change our personal space for the better.
101 East explores how modern Australia can achieve the suburban dream.
Oh, goodness sake. Pat!
What's up, Kim? Oh, God, look at this. God, what a mess. Pete, go and have a look at this.
I don't think I see so much.
It's bad, isn't it? Ken, Colin.
Jeez, what a disgusting mess. Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
Right, I'll get the ladder.
Take some work getting that off.
The Buffers are a ragtag team of volunteers. And a graffiti artist's worst nightmare. Every weekend, they buff away vandalism across Armadale, a suburb on the outskirts of Western Australia's capital, Perth.
It's Lanky.
We haven't seen him for a while.
No, he must be in jail for about 3 months. In the 10 years or more I've been doing this, must have cleaned thousands of walls, pavements, lampposts, people's fences, windows in fact.
Peter Yetton and Colin Campbell left grim English winters for Australia a few decades back.
More artistic dreams destroyed.
That's it.
For people who wake up in the morning and they find somebody's scrawled over their garage door and they feel really, oh, look what they've done.
It's an assault.
And it's assault on their being as well. And then we come around like shining angels and we clean it off for them.
You don't look much like an angel.
I know.
Sure.
Down by the train tracks, their regular weekend haunt, another buffer, Pat O'Rourke, tells me cleanups are quite the social event.
We all enjoy each other's company and we give each other a bit of a stick every so often, you know. But it's all in fun. Hopefully it's all in fun. We're not sure about that sometimes.
Always in need of new blood, it's not long before they show this rank amateur the ropes. Back in high school, I think I got a D for art, actually. I couldn't even paint an apple.
This is not art, this is just painting.
Yeah, but I still think it requires a bit of, brush technique. Beautiful.
You got a bit of pride in your where you live. You don't live in a rubbish heap. I like living in clean areas, you know.
But not all graffiti is easily erased, as the buffers are up against younger, agile adversaries.
Well, who's going to go down there?
Don't look at me.
I think you, Kim, you're the smallest.
We'll lower you down on a rope, round your neck. Oh, this lady can't get through.
There's no shortage of action in one of Western Australia's most troubled neighbourhoods.
Sorry about the delay.
Is he moving or not?
Yeah, he is. There's one on the other side too, so don't collide.
There are some residents that call this town Armadale in the 70s. Armadale did have a bad name because of the vandalism, the crime. The crime rate was very high. It's kept that tag. I'm glad to see we're cleaning it up and not making it look like the Bronx.
Ken Pike is the tech whiz of the operation.
My role, apart from the cleaning, of course, is using the iPad because no one else knows how to use it and they don't want to know. So that's left to me. I take a photo after clean-up and that's then sent on to council and the police.
While crime doesn't sleep in Armadale, there's always time for Peter's homemade cake. For 83-year-old Kim Fletcher, tea breaks are a chance to rest the weary legs.
Tastes a bit like koala.
What motivates you to kind of still get out there and do this?
I think it all came from the fact that my parents were very community-minded. I came here in 1939 when Dad was posted as a policeman, so that may have some influence on me too.
Armadale shopping strip is another graffiti gold mine.
Ah, it's gone. Lovely, 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 lovely. That's my main motivation for coming along.
Statues nearby remind residents of Armadale's past as a quiet hamlet.
Today, busy as it is with modern shopping centre on one side,
This old corporate video from the 80s sold the suburban dream of moving to Armadale.
morning here is like the first morning. This is where the air is crisp and filled with the scent of gum trees. The people here are relaxed, friendly. The kindly smile of this old lady is mirrored in the happy grin of this most modern miss.
Kim remembers the good old days.
It was a rural area, poultry farming, dairying, vine growing. It was a sleepy little country town. Many of us wish it was a bit like that today. Places that I used to roam, which was bushland, now is covered in houses, and I find that a bit distressing.
Should Australians be concerned about the sprawl of suburbia?
I think so, yes. And I think we're feeling it now. Because we're so spread over the area, we get that feeling of isolation, which is not good.
A land sale boom has created one of Australia's largest urban sprawls, which encompasses Armadale.
So Armadale is, in Australia, it's one of the fastest growing regions in the whole of the country. We've doubled our population in a very short period of time.
And it's still growing, with blocks of land here cheap for first home buyers and young families.
We're trying to rein in the sprawl. That's why there's no quarter-acre blocks now. They're all quarter of that, aren't they?
I've lived in a number of towns in the UK that haven't changed for 1,500 years. I mean, they've got plumbing now, but fundamentally the town has been the same since the time of the Romans. Australia isn't like that at all. So everybody's been thrown into a melting pot in the same very short period of time, and I think it's about finding identity. It's easy sometimes for people to lose a sense of community within suburbia, but I think that community exists. People have just got to reach out and find it.
David Bolt runs Cafe Crossways, a diner and op shop which builds community connections for those in need.
Chicken burger, small chips.
I don't think the people that are doing it tough in this area have the suburban dream. They are struggling to pay their rent. They are living without hot water. There's people coming through here, they don't know where to get their next meal from. They don't have the life skills to cook something up. They haven't had anybody teach them to cook.
His volunteers prepare cheap meals for them in a busy kitchen.
How's the food today? Give us a mark out of 10.
You have a good 8?
Yeah, a good 8. Okay, we got some room. We got some room for improvement.
We don't charge more than $10 for any meal. So there's a lot of people that can come 2 or 3 times a week here.
David strikes up conversation with patrons he senses are struggling.
Daniel, what we've got here is just got a whole bunch of different meals. Come and take whatever you need. And yeah, there's no limiting, you just take what you need, pay what you can afford. So yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Like, without you, we would have been down and out for the night. So yeah, we really appreciate it.
Cool.
I love being able to love people and be part of the fix, you know. And the idea of community is so broken. We do community really badly. We've got people that are isolated, they're struggling in their mental health, and who the heck is walking alongside of them?
David knows this from personal experience. He has struggled with bipolar disorder since he was a young adult.
At the age of 20, I suffered a massive psychosis. I was in deep depression. I ended up in hospital for 3 months in the secure ward, and that was awful in itself.
Now married with 3 children, David is on the road to recovery. Balancing fatherhood and his condition isn't easy, but he's determined to be their role model. David says many social problems in Armadale occur due to absent fathers.
There's a lot of people just living for themselves. It just seems to me that dads just don't stay.
Morning, Cristiano. Morning, Tootsie. Morning, Ethan. Hello, Cruz. Good job yesterday with that T-ball. You loved it, didn't you? Yeah, I thought you did. You're a really good sport. That's good. Your uniform looks lovely. Come on. Good girl.
At one of Armadale's local primary schools, Leslie Barrett is a principal with strong principles.
Have a wonderful day and I'll see you at recess time. Sound good? Come on.
Every morning, students are given a free breakfast, one of many assistance programs on offer to children at Nerrigan Brook Primary School.
It's unique in that it helps to build our sense of belonging. And for some of our children, they haven't had time to get breakfast, or they haven't had the option of having some food at home prepared. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Miss Barrett.
How are you today?
Good.
There are 300 students here, and some were introduced to learning at a late age.
Yesterday we did enrol 2 children, one who is 7, so going into year 2, and one going into year 1, and they've never been in school. It is shocking. It's amazing to think that that can actually happen, but I think part of that is because we have become disconnected from what's happening around us.
Some students here struggle academically due to poverty.
We have very low literacy and numeracy levels across the board. Many of our children don't have any reading books at home.
Every day, Leslie announces the total school attendance.
We're at 296.
As a form of positive reinforcement.
Today we have 296 students, so everybody give yourselves a big clap, please. Well done, everybody. Let's aim for 300 tomorrow. Good job. I'll see you out at recess. Thank you.
When Leslie began working here in 2016, students would miss days, weeks, or even months of class. To combat high truancy rates, she introduced a program where children with good attendance could enter a raffle to get a bicycle.
Well done. Good job. This one's for you. Well done. Stand there. Can we give him another big clap, please?
Today, the lucky winners get to pedal their prize home.
Oh, other way. Turn it around. Good job. That's exciting, Riley. Well done. Do you want to hang it back on here? Hearing the children's ideas, and that was something that would help them to get to school, so they needed that incentive to come. And they come and they put the hard work in, and they get a reward for that. And that's life. You put the hard work in, you can get rewards.
Leslie says to engage students, she has to be hands-on and embrace new ideas.
The things I do, and my team, I guess, for some are very, it's not traditional, but otherwise I will just be stuck in doing the same thing that everyone else has done, and nothing will change in real terms, and nothing will change for the students that I have and the families. And that's appalling. You can't accept that.
In the past 3 years, she's turned her attention to engaging with parents. A not-for-profit organisation called the Fathering Project has run a successful pilot program with Leslie's school. Their regular breakfast barbecues try to attract dads during drop-off hours.
Leslie's great because she's very relational. That's the key to it. She's never seen so many dads in the school. You know, she's got dads coming in and out of classrooms and dads wanting to be part of the school culture.
All right, thanks Ron, good job.
David Walker works as a local facilitator for the project and helps dads in distress. Married with 5 children, he says his role is very different to a social worker, psychologist or life coach.
It's a sharing of knowledge rather than me being in a position of telling them how to father. You're at ground zero, so to speak. You're meeting them in their environment, in their space, where you can hopefully impart some fathering facts, some wisdom, some support, focusing on the things they're doing well rather than highlighting the things that they're still falling short on, and just validating them in their role as dads. I'm there for the long haul, to try and build relationship with the dads and to understand them and to know that I'm there in the community. I live close to the community that I work in, so it's not so much as a job for me, it's part of my life.
Today, he's going to meet Kim.
Hey Kim, how you going?
Hello Dave.
Good to see you.
You too, matey. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I just come in to catch up, to check in on you and see how you're getting on.
Since separating from his wife, Kim has struggled with being a single dad.
Managing a house plus dealing with your kids' emotions, that's a hard gig.
I hate cooking and cleaning at the best of times. And all of a sudden it's all on me.
He is finding it difficult to communicate with his son.
I mean, there's days he'll say things to me, you know.
That are really hurtful.
A while back he says to me, my dad's lazy, he just sits at home, you know. You know, you what? I could have just dropped to the floor right then and there, you know. Just couldn't have stabbed a man more in the heart with a knife, you know. God, I'm not lazy, my boy, you know. I just can't get work.
The battle for us as dads is not to take that personally. Some of our frustrations born from just not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I lay in bed some nights just trying to work the maths out, you know.
Yeah.
How do we make tomorrow work?
Funded by private companies and philanthropy, the Fathering Project also provides online resources for dads. They now want to use Armadale's pilot program in low socioeconomic areas across Australia. For it to be a success nationwide, the Fathering Project will have to find more community leaders like Leslie.
Hello.
Her team is also doing more outreach in poor neighbourhoods around her primary school. She personally delivers food hampers and meets at-risk parents whose children are students.
How you been keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. Just been getting ready for the dress-up week at school.
Oh, for book week?
Yeah, for book
Yes.
week. The girls have been loving it. They've been so excited.
Yeah, doing such a good job as a family, and you were just terrific, so thank you. Hello. Trust was definitely a barrier that we had to overcome and we had to build. If you don't have your families on board and you aren't connected with your community, you're only doing really a third of the job, because it's so important to have the input from families and the teamwork from families. Because for a lot of our families, an adult school was not a positive experience for them.
Leslie gets them on side because she understands their struggle.
I grew up in the 70s and 80s in a very similar suburb to Armadale. I lived in state housing, and youngest of 4 children, and I watched my parents work. My mother worked and my father, had some health issues which, restricted that, but both still made sure that we had access, all our children had access to opportunities when they came, and made sure that we did go to school. I can relate to our parents wanting the best. You want the best for your children, and you just really want to make sure that they can get that, but sometimes you don't know how to get it.
Leslie says the lessons being learnt here are relevant across the world. How do we ensure that we foster better connections and ensure that people on the margins are included in mainstream Australian society?
You need someone to advocate for them. You need somebody who is looking out for those opportunities for everybody and keep it fair, so that you're not excluded by race or gender or any of those things that traditionally maybe, that's been a barrier.
One such advocate, Gavin Tuatahi Grace, left his mark on students last year. The local artist worked with the kids to create these benches to inspire and beautify the school, just as he does across Armadale.
It's bright, it's colourful, but the messages are important. He actually spent time getting to know our students and why that piece of our school was important to them. He connects with the children, he brings the energy, and he just makes you smile.
That afternoon, we find him working on his latest canvas, a wall in downtown Armadale, filling it not with graffiti, but art.
See, this is all happening on the fly. And then the idea is, and when we finish it, it'll look beast. That's the plan anyway.
Known locally as Gracie, he was Armadale's Community Citizen of the Year in 2018 for fostering community resilience through these art projects.
I think it's important for our city that we're able to use creativity to transform, dull or either boring spaces in our city.
A former soldier in New Zealand, Gracie came here with his family to chase wealth in Western Australia's mining sector. Soon after arriving, he was retrenched from work and fell into deep depression.
If it's left unaddressed, it festers. I personally had no tools to understand how I could reach out or how I could access any help that was out there. I mean, the lowest point for me personally would probably to the point where I lost the ability to communicate with my wife or my 3 sons.
After getting treatment, he set up a self-funded community program called Art versus Depression to help others navigate dark times through creativity.
I need an opposition, whether it's in the competitive space of sport. As a boxer, I had to fight an opponent, and that's when I challenged myself to rise. As an ex-military person, it's the same thing. The only difference that I've chosen is instead of picking up a rifle or a weapon, I've chosen the paintbrush.
Let's do it. So once I've done what I'm doing now, blocking it in, then go back and assess whether I need to add detail or where I need to add extra details and stuff.
Yeah, straight away, bro.
Today, Gracie is providing assistance to Mouse, a local artist struggling to realise his creative vision on a roller door at Armadale's Central Market.
Get rid of what I call noise, bro. Simplify that image, get a real strong framework of the image that you're working off, and then go back and later and start detailing it out as you need to, yeah?
Gracie also operates a coffee van with his wife Sharon. It's not about keeping this community caffeinated. This is how he meets troubled souls on the streets of Armadale.
If we don't take care of ourselves, then everything else falls apart. This isn't about coffee. We're just using coffee as a vehicle to build a relationship. So this is about relationship building.
Gracie is now setting up a community cafe to help others. Those in Armadale say he's a role model for troubled men.
What about me? You got one for me?
What message do you have for them?
The responsibility, ownership. Look at ourselves in the mirror, take a step back, and then just take time to really say, man, is this who I want to be, or is this who everyone else wants me to be?
In Armadale, plenty of people live on Struggle Street. While this suburb lacks material wealth, I've learnt this place is rich in leaders who foster community. Some paint on walls, others remove it, but they're all determined to make Armadale a better place.